Hey everybody, welcome back to Real Estate Bites. This is episode 121. As you can see, we're in a little bit different digs today. I decided to record from home. Oh, hold on. I'm having a technical difficulty here. Let me see if I can't get connected to my Facebook feed. That's okay. It's not working. I'll put it up there later. So anyhow, this is episode 121. I'm doing it from home because I wanted to save myself the commute time. Very busy morning. And even though it's only 50 minutes there and back and getting set up and everything, I use that 50 minutes. Not to mention, it is wicked cold outside and we got the wood burning stove cooking in here and it is super cozy. So at any rate, this episode, I want to talk to you guys about different programs that are available from the state of Ohio for energy efficiency, rebates, cost reduction, grants, etc. For those people who live out of state and watch this program, never fear. All 50 states have at least one sort of energy reduction or utility support program. So Ohio has a bunch, and that's what we're going to talk about. But again, if you live out of state, your state also has something that you can check into. All right. So the first one that we'll talk about here, and I got a lot of information here, guys. So buckle up. All right. The first one is the Home Weatherization Assistance Program, HWAP. That is from the state. The income eligibility requirements are you have to be equal to or less than 66% of the federal poverty level. Now you have to be less than or equal to 200% of the federal poverty level, which is $66,000 for a household of four. That seems, a little crazy. 66 grand is double the federal poverty level. So that means the federal poverty level for a household of four is actually $33,000. I checked into this too. I looked into it, and trust me, the increases that they made over the last 5 to 6 years have not kept up with inflation. So anyways, the Home Weatherization Assistance Program from the state of Ohio, it's administered by your local community action agency. Most counties have these. Sometimes your larger municipalities have their own community action agency. That's where you would apply for this. And what happens is when you apply, if you're eligible, they're going to send somebody out to do an energy audit of your home. And after that energy audit, they're going to make a bunch of recommendations on what can be done in your home to improve energy efficiency. And so after that, they will, through this program for free, do these various improvements that include things like air sealing, insulation, HVAC tune-ups, and appliance repairs. And sometimes they'll even replace appliances with more energy efficient appliances. There's no deadline for this program. This is a year-round program that always is going on here in the state of Ohio. There's also no termination date, meaning there's not going to end this program in 2028 or anything. It's just an open program. So take advantage of it. The second program that I want to talk about is the Ohio Electric Partnership Program. All right, so this is for households with high electricity usage. And in order to be eligible, you have to have a high electricity usage, which they're going to do their own measurements based upon average usage in the state. And you have to have less than or equal to 175% of that federal poverty level. So that for a household of four, that is $57,750 of annual household income, again, for a household of four. So with this program, again, you receive the free energy use assessment, and then you will potentially receive these free professional installations of these different electricity saving measures, new lighting, new appliances, insulation, and more. Again, this state program has no deadline and there is no termination date on the books. All right, next up is The AEP, which is the American Electric Power Association, the AEP Ohio High Efficiency for Low Income Program. So this is actually a private company offering an assessment of your energy usage in your home, and then again offering electricity saving measures. So for this to be eligible, you have to be less than or greater to 300% of the federal poverty level, which is a household income for a family of four of $99,000. Obviously, they break it down: one person, two person, three person, four person for all of these things. And then after four person, there's a certain amount for each additional person in the household. I'm only talking about household of four because that's pretty average. I didn't want to break it down for every single one of these programs because it just would take too much time. Not to mention, I'm showing you the website here. Go take a look at it. You'll get all the information you need if you want to apply for these programs. And listen, if you're eligible, you should be applying and saving yourself and the family the money. Not only are you going to save yourself and your family money, but by doing these certain things at low or no cost, you're improving the value of your home, right? So the benefits are incredible. You are saving money every single month on your bills, and you're improving the value of your home. You're increasing the equity you have in your home for whatever you might need it for: resale, a HELOC, a home equity loan, a second mortgage, whatever you might need. All right. So let's get back to the AEP Ohio Efficiency for Low Income Program. So they are offering, they'll do their assessment and they will recommend and provide low or no cost electricity saving measures, such as new HVAC equipment, right? New water heaters, refrigerators and freezers that are Energy Star rated, water saving products, smart thermostats, air sealing and weatherization, and new lighting. Again, that's from AEP and the Ohio Efficiency for Low Income Program. All right. Moving on. The next one is, I forgot to mention, no deadline, once again, for AEP. This is all year round. For that matter, all these programs are all year round, and there's no termination date set in the future. All right. So the next, the Columbia Gas Warm Choice Program. So similar to the others, this, you reach out to Columbia Gas, you apply through this. They're going to send someone out to do an assessment, as always, and they may provide measures or free professional installation of insulation, air sealing, furnace repair or replacement, potential appliance upgrades, and home weatherization. For this one, eligibility is you got to have less than or equal to 200% of the federal poverty level, which we established was $66,000 for a family of four. And of course, you got to be a Columbia Gas customer. So Dominion Gas customers, they have the housewarming program, which is basically the same thing as the Columbia Gas Warm Choice program. But Dominion Gas, in addition to their housewarming program, they also have the Dominion Ohio Home Performance with Energy Star program. And this is for people who are not low income. So everything that we've talked about to this point, there's an income threshold that if you're above it, you're SOL. You can't use this program. This one, the Dominion Ohio Home Performance with Energy Star program. And let me make this screen a little bit bigger here so you guys can see that. Here it is, the Home Performance with Energy Star program, highlighted right here. Okay. So with this one, again, it's for people who are not low income. They'll do their professional audit and then they offer rebates. So if you go out and you have a project that's done, you buy new insulation, you put in a high efficiency furnace or a water heater or whatever, they can give you, they'll give you a rebate, right? Okay. That's a couple great programs there from Ohio Dominion. Let's move on. This next one here is the Home Energy Rebate Program, HOMES, or you see the High Efficiency Electric Home Rebate Act. So Both of these programs administered through the state, and again, like the other ones that come from the state, you've got to apply through your local community action agency. These are actually funded by the Inflation Reduction Act. So there is a termination on this one. I lied a minute ago. For home specifically, you can see there's over $124 million that was allotted for the state of Ohio. And with the High Efficiency Electric Home Rebate Act, there was a little over 124 million for that one as well. So these programs last until those funds run out. But basically, they're cash rebates for comprehensive energy retrofits. Once again, they will send somebody to assess what you got going on. And if you do a project in the home that is an energy reduction project, you submit what you do. What they do here is they'll give you $2,000 off the project if you reduce your home by 20% or greater. If you reduce your home energy use by 35% or greater, they'll give you $4,000 as a rebate off of the project. Now, again, there are eligibility requirements, and they're even stricter than the ones that we mentioned before. You can only have a household income of 150% of household income medians in the area. Okay. And again, funds run out. When the funds run out, the program's over. There's a number of other organizations, AEP, First Energy. These guys offer rebates on smart home thermostats. So AEP, if you buy a smart thermostat and install it, you can get, if you're an AEP customer, you can get $75 rebate. First Energy offers $100 rebate for the installation of your smart home thermostat. So if you've been considering that, there's an easy $100 off of your smart home thermostat today. Okay. The next one I wanted to talk about was net metering. All right. So I don't have a website for this because this is if you install solar panels. So the state of Ohio offer a couple different programs for those who install solar in their home. One is net metering, which means when they install your solar program, they're going to have a new meter installed, and some of the energy, the electricity that is produced by your solar system, your solar panel system, will be sent back out to the grid. And they keep track of what you're sending out to the grid. And while you don't get full retail kilowatt hour pricing, you do have the ability to that energy is going to be credited against future electric bills. So I have a solar panel system on my home. It generates enough for 108% of my home's use. Now, during the summer months, when we have a lot of sunlight all day long, my panels are sucking up solar energy and creating solar energy all day long, right? And so what happens is I send out more to the grid. I produce more than my family and my household consumes. And what is sold back to the grid becomes a credit against future bills. And I'll tell you, from May of 2025 up until my last bill that I received, they've been negative. And I've got credits right around $1,000 so far. Now, I watch the energy production and consumption of my panels, and I'll tell you that so far, late December and up through January, have not been producing a whole lot of solar power, not producing a whole lot of electricity from these panels. So I get the feeling those negatives are about to end, and I'm going to be receiving positive bills where I actually owe. However, that's when the credits kick in. So through late winter and spring, when we're not, there's not a lot of sunshine, there's less days of sunlight or less hours of sunlight through the day, and I am consuming more than my system is producing, that's when I redeem those credits, and it should balance out through the year, right? So that's net metering. Your solar panel system generates electricity, it's put back out into the grid, And what you essentially sell to the grid is kept as a credit against future electric bills. Now, there's another program that when you install a solar system, you're enrolled in, and that is the Solar Renewable Energy Credit Program. And this is an interesting program, but so for every 1,000 kilowatt hours of electricity that your solar system generates, you get one SREC credit. You get one solar renewable energy credit. Okay. And you can eventually sell those for about $3 per credit, right? Now, who do you sell them to? You can actually sell them to corporations. So, corporations with their, what is it? It's slipping my mind right now. But social governance, I forget what it is. Anyways, with all of these programs where these corporations are trying to be a little more environmentally friendly, reduce their carbon footprint, they either need to reduce their carbon footprint from their actual production, right? So if you're a factory, you can employ new efficiency measures or buy specialized equipment that reduce carbon emissions, and there you're directly reducing your carbon footprint, or you can offset your carbon footprint, right, by purchasing these solar energy credits. There's other ways that corporations can offset. They can, pay to have parts of the world reforested. They can, do things like this, but you can sell them these SRECs at $3 a pop on a marketplace. So there's multiple marketplaces where you can sell your solar renewable energy credit to this marketplace, and they will act as a broker, and they will find a buyer, and you'll make your money $3 a pop, right? And of course, this marketplace has a bit of like an arbitrage, and that's how they make their money. So that's an interesting thing. You're not going to get rich unless you have a whole lot of solar panel or a whole lot of acreage that you can plant trees on, but a little bit extra income you can find by selling solar renewable energy credits into the marketplace to corporations who need that to, what is their SGI or whatever it's called, to satisfy reducing their carbon footprint for whatever reason they may need to. There are utility bill assistance programs in the state of Ohio. Let's take a look here. We talked about that one. Let me share my screen again. This is called the HEAP program. And I'm slow on this one, guys. Apologize about that. Here it is. All right. So the HEAP program, basically what happens is if you qualify, once again, of course, there is going to be an income requirement. But if you qualify, then they will give you basically a credit up to like $500. They'll give you a credit. They'll pay for one utility bill through the winter. This is really designed for wintertime heating costs for lower income families who they need help paying that bill through the winter. You can apply, and 1 month out of the year, they'll give you a credit and pay that bill for you. That's what the HEAP program is for. All right. So a couple additional programs that are available out there. One is not statewide, but there's a lot of local water conservation rebates. So, this is call whoever manages your local water and see if they have any programs there. They can either give you, change faucets, shower heads, things like this, or there's rain barrel programs, rain garden programs, things where if you can reduce the amount of watershed into stormwater is essentially what's going on, then they will give you rebates or help to pay for the installation of a rain garden or the different stuff you could install inside your home, or rain barrels, things like this. So that is a local thing that's not administered by the state, but that will come from your local water provider. Another thing that the state does provide is it's called EcoLink. This is a 3% interest rate reduction for loans provided by qualifying banks for any sort of energy or efficiency project that you might have installed in your home. So again, if you're installing the solar panels, if you're financing the installation of a brand new HVAC system and you're getting, a high efficiency system, as long as the bank who's financing that project qualifies with the EcoLink program, you'll take that interest rate that they're charging you and reduce it by 3%. It's being subsidized by the state. So those are not all of, but the vast majority of programs available through the state of Ohio and some municipalities to save on money and improve property values with the support of energy efficiency programs and measures taken inside your home. Okay, so we are going to jump right into our stats because we're running a little bit long today. So here are the statistics. Episode 121, there were 460 single-family homes and condos available for sale in Lorain County. As you can see, inventory remains low, and it's going to be this way, guys, for the foreseeable future. The number of sales last week was 35. So 2 weeks ago, I talked about 38 being one of the all-time low numbers. 35 is the lowest number of sales that I have recorded in about 2 years and 3 months of doing this program, week after week after week. 35 is the lowest number of sales that we've seen in 1 week. So even though demand is low, inventory remains low. Take a look at pricing, guys. We'll get there in just a second. 1,934 square feet was the size of the median home sold last week. The median sale price was $320,000 here in Lorain County. Median square foot value, $182.85. Talk about this all the time. So again, even though lower demand, low inventory still has us with these very, very high median square foot values. Now, we saw a large correction from Q3 2025 to Q4 2025 in the square foot value, right? Q3 ended up with an average median of 175.54. We dropped all the way down to an average median of $167.19 per square foot in the final quarter of 2025. But take a look. We recovered a little bit here in week 1, and weeks 2 and 3 are already above $180 a square foot. So it's just showing there's still a lot of support for these elevated prices. And again, as the selling season gets underway, you couple that with these friendly compared to what we saw a few years back interest rates. And I think we're going to continue to see prices go up and up and up. So as we said a couple of weeks back in this program, even though we saw this large correction, again, about $8 a square foot from Q3 to Q4 2025, Q4 was still a couple percent higher than Q4 2024, right? So we still saw appreciation in home values year over year when we wrapped up the year 2025. And I think we're probably going to see something similar. We're going to see a year over year increase in pricing as we get through 2026, unless there's some major economic calamity that happens, right? So anyways, 6.19% was the interest rate on a conventional 30-year note. And then for the first time in 121 episodes of Real Estate Bites, we get Sheffield Lake on the list for the big sale of the week. Go Cardinals. All right. So $1.15 million sold in Sheffield Lake. Let's take a look at 1.15, what that money will get you here in the city of Sheffield Lake. So this one's on the lake, 4 beds, 3.5 baths, about 2,700 square feet, 1.39 acres. Let's roll through these pictures. This house is a beauty. And of course, it is on the lake. Beautiful balcony there. You got your 2 levels to get you that 2,700 square feet. You can see that they got the nice outbuilding here up front. Beautiful patio overlooking your lake. and a very nicely updated home. That's a fantastic view. Would not mind drinking my morning coffee looking at that view. Beautifully done kitchen. I love the mix of colors. They keep the cabinets neutral. They keep the walls neutral, but it is a beautiful blend of natural colors and white to really open up the space, add great light. You can see there's a ton of natural light coming into this house. They did a beautiful job on this redesign. Little four-season room out back. Here's your master bedroom overlooking the lake. Of course, how could it be anything else? Yeah, I sold a house on the lake once, and it was a small home. And there wasn't a single view of the lake from inside the house. You had to, and I don't care how old the house is. Why would you ever build a house that close to water? Well, you know, I mean, the parcel went all the way to the water. That's a nice bathroom. And there was still no view of the lake from the house. Doesn't make a lick of sense to me. I don't understand. Again, I don't care how old the house is, who the designer was and when. Why would you ever design a home on the lakefront without a view to that water and the serenity that provides? Beautiful, beautiful home. $1.15 million in Sheffield Lake. Congratulations to that homeowner. All right. That is the end of episode 121. I appreciate you guys joining me. This is great information. If you've got friends and family who could use some help, if they're qualifying, if you know they qualify, you got to share this stuff with them. Help them out. Help them save money on their monthly bills. Help them improve their property values. If you are one of these people who qualify, by all means, don't waste any time. This is a great day to find inspiration with 4 degrees outside, negative 20 wind chill here in you know the Cleveland area. Take advantage of these programs. They're made for you. They're made for us to save money and to increase our property values. So, as always, thank you guys for joining me. If you love it, take a look. There's a QR code that brings you to my YouTube channel. Share that with your friends and your family. I will have this uploaded here very shortly. And there's also a bunch of other great topics. Last week, we talked about tax benefits of holding real estate. You know, save money, guys. Love you people. Take care of one another.